Who Says You Can't, You Do by Daniel Chiriak. Chapter 10. The Persistence Punch. Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful people with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. The slogan "Press On" has solved and always will solve the problem of the human race. Calvin Coolidge. Have you ever thought of an idea or something that you believe people would want, and a year or two later you see it on the shelves? It could be on TV, a new product out in supermarket, or an invention that you once or thought of. You then say things like, "That was my idea," and you tell others that you had once thought of it. The difference is that the other person who had the idea decided to persist. We let so many dreams, visions, and ideas say because we think others might find them stupid, or that it will be too hard, or we give up due to the hurdles we come across. An Olympic hurdler does not run off the track if he misses the first jump. He gets back up and finishes the race. Falling doesn't mean failing. The concept of failing was only created by those who were too scared to succeed, and it exists in the same word as giving up. If we never stop persevering, then failure will not be an option. There is in fact no such thing as failure. Instead, everything is knowledge we can put into practice. The reason there are great achievers is because of their reluctance to see something as a failure. They stick to the belief that there is no failure, only feedback. You don't fail, you only get results. These achievers are like a bulldog with a bone clenched firmly in their teeth. The more you try to take away the bone, the harder it will. Even when I Even when I can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, I still believe it's there. If you read biographies of high achievers, you will notice that most of their first businesses or trials were not the ones that took them to greatness. For some, it happened early, but others, achievers, used every experience as an opportunity for learning and growth. It is easy to give up, but only in the short term. I could not think of anything worse than just settling, and to me that's a lot harder to live with. It's normal not to feel 100% motivated all the time, and to have moments where you feel like you are being defeated. What you need to master is moving forward even an inch in those times, because that's how you win. Every time you win, you become stronger, relentlessly. Holding on to your vision is winning in essence. One of the most inspirational stories of persistence I have ever seen was of an Australian man stuck in a Southeast Asian jungle for 11 days. The documentary is called Miracle in the Jungle, and it was based on Hayden Adcock's amazing story of survival on a trek that was only supposed to last a few hours. He got lost in some of the roughest terrain known to mankind, with no food and faced with every challenge possible during a national storm alert. He thought his life was over. His wounds were so deep and so moist that his body became a feeding ground for disease. Parasites entered and hallucinations started to kick in. Halfway through his ordeal, Hayden found himself at a waterfall, where he considered jumping off. He said that just as he was about to jump and end his own life, he thought about his parents and all his loved ones. He thought if he were to give up now, he would be leaving absolutely no hope. So he did not jump because of his strong love for his family. He hadn't survived another 6 days in the jungle after that before being rescued, and he faced challenges that most would consider insurmountable. It just goes to show one man's persistence can defy all the odds against him. It is a documentary I highly recommend it. Permanence, perseverance, and persistence. In spite of all obstacles, discouragement, and impossible possibilities, it is that or it is this that in all things distinguishes the strong soul from the weak. Thomas Carlyle. In order to stay persistent, you must cut off every avenue of retreat. Succeeding needs to be the only way in your mind, because that's when you will go that extra mile and push past the limit that you once thought was impossible. There needs to be no other way than that to which your passion directs you. If you believe something can work, then it can, because you have been there in your mind. Every creation began from a vision and a belief, even when most people call that idea nuts. When you really believe in yourself, it will eventually rub off on everyone around you, and you will notice your persistence is desirable. Don't forget that we build our own belief. It is said that Colonel Sanders went to 900 chicken shops with his recipe and had the door closed in his face. They said his recipe would never work and that his idea was crazy. Yes, 900 times. And ask yourself how many people would have given up after 5 refusals. He believed in his idea and finally got his first break. His sheer persistence and determination transformed his recipe into the franchise we all know as KFC. Tommy Hilfiger started by selling his jeans out of the trunk of his car. Not many would have the guts to do that. If he had not persisted, do you think he would have one of the greatest clothing companies of all times? Even those who have won a medal, passed a test, owned a local business, or dedicated their life to contribution have remained persistent to see it through. There are certain breaks that successful people have, but in order for those opportunities to arise in the first place, they had to persist, and they knew it. The problem with most people is that they gave up, unaware that their big break might have been just around the corner. That's why it is imperative to continue pushing on, because these breaks do happen, and when they hit big. If you are finding it hard to believe in yourself, then prove it to yourself. I'm sure there has been a time in your life when you had to do a new task. Let's take a new job as an example. The first day you walked in, how nervous and excited were you? That job may have been really difficult to comprehend and do. It may have even gotten to a point where you thought you would never get the hang of it. A few weeks went by and you wondered why you ever stressed, because you now seems so easy. If you look for it hard enough, your ability in life will astound you. But most people don't take the time to notice it. The truth is, we have the ability to do things in our life. People throughout history with all different biographies have proved that time and time again. There will be times when you feel as if your head is underwater and you will question what you are doing, doubt your ability, and have others call you stupid. What will bring you to greatness is acting the way the great do. Everyone on the road of achievement has experienced self-doubt. Those who win, though, always overpower that doubt with self-assurance. If you have ever bought a new car, you will be familiar with that uncomfortable feeling when you sit behind the wheel the first few times. Then you might sort of miss your old car because of its comfort. But there is no way you would go back because you know the new one is better. We will persist in driving until it becomes second nature. By perseverance, the snail reached the ark. Charles H. Spurgeon. I have had some people confuse the notion of letting go with that of giving up. Letting go of something you don't want anymore is not the same as giving up on something that you truly do want. For example, if you are in a relationship that is not working and you don't want to be in it anymore, then following a new path is imperative to your happiness. Letting go of something you do not want anymore displays strength. That's why it is not called giving up. Your mind tries to play tricks on you sometimes and tells you that you may want something when you know deep down you don't. Your truth will always ask, is this something I really want? Or am I just scared to let go and push past my non limits? It's just like when we want to grow a particular muscle in our body. We work out and we have to strain and stress to the point of discomfort, and then as time goes on, the muscle grows. If we only ever stop at our limit, we see no improvement. This goes for any part of our life. You will know in your heart whether it's a sign of weakness for hanging around in a situation that you don't want to be in anymore. In saying that, you will also know when you are using excuses not to go and get what you deserve. We all face challenges when we go after what we want, but not many persist in the face of them. Challenges are also there to help you eliminate what you don't want, so what you do want becomes easier, clearer. Sheer determination is crucial for manifesting our visions into reality. Your idea or vision is probably just as good as the last great achievers. You just need to let your passion drive you. Stay strong, keep the faith, believe in yourself, and never give up or accept less than what you know you must have. Most importantly, make sure you enjoy the process. As soon as you stop adding pressure to what you are doing, you are certain to experience pain. Living the dream is not just when you get what you want, it's actually the process of getting it. Things may seem hard at times, but remember they are never so hard that you can't get through them. People we know in the face of obstacles. Adversity has the effect of eliciting talents which in prosperous circumstances would have lain dormant. Horace, the vice president of Columbia Pictures, told Harrison Ford that he was never going to make it in the business. John Graham's first book was rejected by 12 publishing houses and 16 agents. A recording company said about the Beatles, "We don't like their sound and guitar music is on the way out." Charles Darwin's father told him that he would amount to nothing and be a disgrace to himself and his family. A music teacher said about Beethoven, as a composer, he is hopeless. And Enrico Caruso was told that he could not sing at all. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper because he lacked imagination and had no original ideas. The author of Chicken Soup for the Soul was told by publishers that anthologies did not sell and book was too positive. It was rejected a total 140 times. It now has 65 different titles and has sold over 80 million copies all over the world. Thomas Edison was told by a teacher he was too stupid to learn anything. Winston Churchill failed the 6th grade. Albert Einstein was not able to speak until he was almost 4 years old, and his teacher said he would never amount to much. Isaac Newton did poorly in school and failed at running the family farm. F.W. Woolworth was not allowed to wait on customers in the store he worked in because he did not have enough sense. Michael Jordan was cut from the high school basketball team, went home, locked himself in his room and cried. A producer told Marilyn Monroe she was unattractive and could not act. Jonathan Livingston Seagull by Richard Veitch was rejected 18 times before it was published. It then sold over 1 million copies the first year. Julia Roberts auditioned for All My Children and got rejected. Abraham Lincoln's fiancée died and he failed in business twice, had a nervous breakdown and was defeated in 8 elections. We all fall down, but not everyone picks themselves up. Never give up. All the adversity I have had in my life, all my troubles and obstacles have strengthened me. You may not realize it when it happens, but a good kick in the teeth may be the best thing in the world for you. Walt Disney. Adversities, be swift and bold on your road. Adversity exasperates fools, rejects cowards, draws out the faculties of the wise and industrious, puts the modest to the necessity of trying their skill, awes the opulent and makes the idle industrious. Anand. A very good friend of mine who began importing stock from China hit a massive boot after his launch. He had seen a success mentor who told him that if he put it out there to the universe, it would come back at him. This expert forgot to mention the massive action taken by people who actually achieve. Is it that easy that you can just think blissfully, throw it out there to the universe, and it will bounce back at you? I'm not even going to tell you the answer to that because you already know it. We all know that we can't sit there and think, my car is going to be in the driveway, my car is going to be in the driveway, then open our eyes and our car is in the driveway. If you think that sounds ridiculous, it's because it is. Unless we get up and move the car, it's going to remain on the street. But people still buy the concept. There will be a lot of people and many books, documentaries and seminars that try to sugarcoat achievement. I even heard one speaker and author say that we can manifest effortlessly when it comes to what we want. If you ever hear anything like this and believe it, realize you are setting yourself up by a big disappointment. There never has been and never will be an easy way of achieving something great. The positive side, however, is that even though sometimes in life there is no way out, there is always a way through. You will always hear from others that someone out there is worse off. Although that's not really inspiring, is it? Inspiration comes from acknowledging that there was someone worse off that actually got through it. There is always a way. You must accept and make peace with a challenging situation and look for every way to push forward or move swiftly around it. Don't resist. Instead, embrace how your experience can change your life for the better. We so often focus all our energy on the obstacles and not on the desired outcome. It's just like when there is a car in front of us that has its turn signal on, we automatically look for a way around. Right. The last thing we want to do is stop the flow of where we are heading. We must focus on the outcome, not the obstacles. I think we are all very aware that if we want something in life, we must go and get it. If you wait around and just bliss out all day, it will never come about. There is never an easy road to success. So put down the books and skip the seminars that tell you that most people also want the easier option because we like to believe we can do less and gain more. Definitely not the truth, and that's why most people never get what they want. It's a great selling tool for liars, though, because they are not telling the real story. Notice that only a few tell you about their adversities. Wonder why? It's the same for those who 10 years down the track are still sitting in their bedroom waiting for their Ferrari or their dream partner to drop out of the sky. Life is about learning, and the only way to grow is through challenges. Adversity is a fact of life. It can't be controlled. What we can control is how we react to it. English proverb. The particular friend of mine did so much in the lead up to his launch and expected such a great outcome that he neglected the after plan. When the phone was not ringing off the hook and the stock was not flying out the door, he assessed this outcome as a failure. What he was not aware of is that most business launches don't actually go according to plan. It is absolutely crucial that your vote of success is not based on one particular event. If it is, you leave yourself open to great disappointment. If you prepare for one big event, build up momentum, and take massive action, then end up disheartened. That's worse than never going for it in the first place. This usually happens to people who have defined one set way to achieve something. Don't ever change your ultimate want if you truly believe in it, but be able to move around. You must diversify your efforts. Bruce Lee summed it up beautifully when he said, when you put water in a teacup, it becomes a teacup. When you put water in a bowl, it becomes a bowl. It can also crash or flow. Be water, my friend. What he was referring to is how water is able to mold its shape into anything it is put into. We must be able to mold ourselves into any situation we find ourselves in, as there is never one sad way to be. There are many different avenues to be taken at all times. When you do find yourselves at point of challenge, be aware that they are actually for your benefit. Any successful person will tell you that it was some times of challenge that made them push harder and think broader. Adversities and challenges are actually learning opportunities. Regarding my friend's business launch, I did like to add that 12 months later, a businessman walked into his showroom and bought $60,000 worth of stock in one day. The ball rolled from there. He was quick to remind me that he had nights when he felt like his head was underwater and would run to his toilet to throw up. But he refused to put a time limit on what he believed in. He kept the faith, persisted, and finally got his break. Life is a gift, my friend. You may only be one step away from unwrapping the paper. If happiness is looking forward to something and great emotions inspires us to act, then we must continue to set up new challenges. Yes, never lose sight of your passion and always set up new visions and challenges far before the completion of the imminent one. The most important thing to recognize when setting out to achieve is that every step you take is one step closer. You must have your eyes fixed on this notion so it builds massive incentives. And you must never lose sight of your goals. Continue to take action and walk those steps that light up in front of you every day. Keep the faith if you believe in what you are doing, and have the there you have the ingredient to great achievement. Here's a strategy to ensure the strength of your success. Adversity precedes growth. Rosemary Rossetti. Step 1. Create many plans. If you have a plan, that's absolutely great. Create another one. Create 5 more if you can. Always have many options for improvement. If you don't have a plan, then make one. If you are thinking you don't know where to start, then my advice is to keep your eyes fixed on the prize. Feel it, be it, breathe it, meditate over it, talk about it, pray for it. I don't care what it is. Just consume yourself with it. This will allow for inspiration to appear everywhere. And then write stuff down, even if it seems extremely small at the time. Make sure you catch it on paper and things will flow from there. Create the after plan. If there are roadblocks, this will allow you to change direction. Step 2. Take appropriate action. You must take action every single day. Do 3, 2, 3, 5 or 10 things a day. Just make sure you are doing something. This will create momentum. Small steps equal massive progress. If you beat at a pinata enough time, the candy will eventually fall out. Use that concept with your vision. Step 3. Acknowledge challenges or adversities correctly. Don't just accept how things seem in an instant. That's narrow minded. You must have an open mind on the road of achievement. Every time a challenge or adversity appears in your life, it does not matter how small. See it as a learning point. If you commit to making this simple adjustment, you will be inundated with great opportunities for growth. Step 4. Never lose sight. Never ever take your eyes off the prize. Always remain focused on what you believe in. If it makes your heart sing, then don't stop. Holding your ultimate visions close to your heart and mind will continue to light up the path for you. It's our true inspiration. Boldness be my friend. William Shakespeare. Getting down to business. Take up one idea. Make that one idea your life. Think of it, dream of it, live on that idea. Let the brain, muscles, nerves, every part of your body be full on that idea and just leave every other idea alone. This is the way to success. That is the way great spiritual giants are produced. Swami Vivekananda. Wishful thinking does not work without action. So now it's time to see how action might not always work without some sort of plan. They say hard work always pays off. Well, I know people who have worked hard for 30 years and still don't have the things they wanted 20 years ago. I am the first to admit that achievement does not come easy, but when you enjoy the process, it does not seem that hard either. You enjoy the process when you have created so much emotional attachment to its result that you would not live any other way. We must learn to work smart and with a strategy. In the beginning of my change, I made a promise to myself that I would only model the elite of whatever industry I wanted to learn about. What would be the point of finding patterns from those who were not as successful as others? Why not just go straight to the top and find their patterns? When I wanted to learn how to play tennis, I researched Roger Federer's style. The way he held the racket, his motion, and his game mindset became the groundwork for my practice. When I wanted to learn about business, I looked at the Chinese and Japanese. I was always fascinated with the way they did business. It always seemed secretive and mysterious to me. It was as if they knew things that the West had not yet grasped. Through my quest to find answers, I stumbled across a book called The Art of War, written by an ancient Chinese military general, strategist, and philosopher, Sun Tzu. I discovered that the Chinese and Japanese used this book and similar war books as a basis for their business ventures. They view business like going into battle, and I guess in most cases it is courage, honor, strategy, preparation, when to attack or defend, and when to retreat are all important aspects for these people's success. In order to make money from your passion or even increase your wealth, you must think business. Does that mean your work is not coming from your heart? If you are selfish and have no intention of sharing your success, then I guess it's not. If your work improves the lives of others and your business lifts your community, then of course it's still from your heart. It depends on the belief system you choose to build around monetizing your passion. When looking to build beliefs about money, think of a knife. If a knife was given to a humble man on an island, he could use it to cut fruit, which would make his life a little easier. If you gave the knife to a serial killer, you could probably bet what he would use it for. The knife can be two different tools. It all depends on how you look at it. Most of the people I have heard say money is evil. or slander. Those who have a lot are usually the same ones I hear complaining about not having enough. That's a contradiction. If you ask me, but it's because the majority don't think they have the capability to increase their wealth. It's much easier to attack people who do have their capacity in order to gain some quick satisfaction. How many of those people do you think would refuse a 10 million check dollar? How many of them would refuse a double income bonus for the year? So is it money that is evil, or is it that some people do evil things with money? It's easier to blame a piece of paper than humans. While I was in Thailand learning about the power of the mind, I had the pleasure of staying with some monks for some for 3 days. Even they were variant on financial donations from the lay people in order for them to survive and keep the temples running in Bangkok. They needed money. Love it or lump it, it's a major part of our society. You might not want millions of dollars, and that's fine. I know people who have money that then will last them a lifetime and then they are unhappy, while some who are just comfortable are the happiest people alive. I also know people with no money who are the biggest haters, and those who have a lot and are doing great things for the world. How you deal with your financial situation is your choice. If you want to turn your passion into a lifelong career or create massive amounts of wealth, the reality is you must be prepared. Business is not for the faint hearted, so it means we must set ourselves up and build strength. If history has taught us anything, it's that everyone is capable of achieving. You could buy a business, start your own, or you alone could be your business. Whatever it is, there are some questions to get your mind going. How can I make my idea feasible and profitable? Do I have a marketing plan? How can I market? What can I do to reach a large amount of people without taking the ace from the image I want to portray? Do I have some sort of business plan? Do I want investors? If so, when do they break even? At what point do they see profit? Are my visions still too big? Do I need to create more clarity about what I want? Are there operational skills in a business I need to learn? Do I need 6 to 12 months practice in that type of business first? Are there people in the industry I can talk to and gain ideas from? Do I want a loan? If so, how much capital versus loan do I want? Am I likely to make profit instantly? If not, do I need another job to survive and continue to invest? What are the principles and culture I want to promote in my business? Example: honor, integrity, loyalty, fun, trust, etc. All successful businesses have these two areas cemented. They pass through to customers, staff, advertising, and marketing. It's also crucial that the owner practices what he preaches. Do I need to lengthen my days to get more done? Is it beneficial to condition myself to 6 hours of sleep rather than 8 or 10? Why do you want to achieve in business? Are you going to treat it like your own mission? Is it because you want to be your own boss, or like being in charge of your life? Are you passionate about what you do? If you are only doing it for the money, not the feeling, you will never be happy. The cause must always override the materials. If it does not, you are in trouble. It's fine to want a big toys, but never let them be the basis of crucial decision making. Instead, let your passion be the sole decider. People do things that destroy their life when driven by material concerns. Make sure you keep on top of it. A business that makes nothing but money is a poor kind of business. Henry Ford. Don't be scared of by the questions on page 122-123. Sometimes We ignore these things, but I guess that's why so many business crumbles or people give up. I never went to university to learn how to answer them, and most successful business people I know did not either. All you have to do is get the ball rolling. Even taking notice of some of these questions will help you fill in the gaps as you go along. For example, my marketing plan began on a notepad with a pencil. Started by listing a few ideas of how I could market the book. After about a month, it turned into about 10 pages. I would even pull ever when driving so I could write a new idea in my phone. Then I began structuring it into sections and time frames. If you have yet to browse the internet for things you think will improve your business so immediately, you can find practically anything on the internet, and it's a free source. I'm not saying you will base your success on it, but it's a great reference. I typed in ways to market a book and was instantly bombarded with thousands of ideas. Only build on progress. Correction does much, but encouragement does more. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. When we are working toward our vision, it is crucial that we acknowledge every step we take. It seems we go around reminding ourselves about when we make mistakes. But how often do we pat ourselves on the back for doing something great, even if it's having the courage to tell someone how much you love them, sending one email towards your vision, or finding growth from self criticism? They are all things to be really proud of. Any great achiever has used this critical tool in reaching their peak. If you take a minute, you will actually realize that it's impossible to gain growth from something that you see as a negative. We have to shift our mindset to reward ourselves with every step. The way we train police dogs is a great example. These dogs are the elite of the elite, and they are very disciplined and trustworthy. The officers know that when it's time to deliver, these canines step up to the plate with accuracy and certainty. They are not beaten or screamed at in their training. They are conditioned by being rewarded every time they make progress. When this is repeated, it gives them the incentive to do it again and again until they are like machines. The only way to really enjoy our life and achieve our goals is to condition ourselves to the great feeling we attain when we are rewarded. When you were a child and your parents screamed at you to do something, even though you might have done it, you did not want to do it again. On the other hand, when you did something and they mentioned how proud they were and how well you did, you felt happy enough to repeat it. We live in a society where punishment for doing the wrong thing is seen as the solution. It seems that misbehaving gets far more attention, so it becomes quite appealing to those in search of a spotlight. But how often do we praise people for doing great things for the world? How often are they recognized? Is it your any wonder why there are so many people who are lost and confused? The only way to change is by building on positive progress. Our true motivation lies in repeatedly being proud of yourself. If you ever wonder how some people seem to stay so motivated in life, this is why. They don't wait for other people to come and praise them for their efforts. They do it themselves. This influences others to do it because they feel your passion, even if it's something that you think you might have done poorly. Always look for the growth in it. I was coaching an aspiring singer who would really beat herself up over not hitting the correct notes. All she focused on was how poorly she had done, and she forgot to recognize the great aspects of her performance. Instead of looking at her mistakes and saying, how can I improve these areas and work on them, she would view them as a failure. We are our own biggest critics. But once you recognize that your criticism is the best life coach you will ever have, you will excel. You need to get physically excited with every step you take, regardless of how small it might seem at the time. This allows you to realize that accomplishment feels great on all levels. Get physical, get vocal, jump up and down, dance around your house, look like a crazy person. It does not matter. Just build incentive. Your feelings of today shape tomorrow. Most of us swimming against the tides of trouble the world knows nothing about. Need only a bit of praise or encouragement, and we will make the goal. Robert Collier. Thank you very much for listening. This is the end of chapter 10 and page number 126.